What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be counting down 15 want-to-watches we want to see in FIFA 19. Now, before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, and let's get into the countdown. Now, at number 1, we have got Riyad Mahrez, and I think he'll probably be one of the lockdown ones that they will go for. A very popular player, won the Prem with Leicester, and has now moved on to City, where he has good odds of winning it for a second time. My expectation is of an 84 rated card, maybe 85, because I know EA like to push up the ratings of players that are very popular, the likes of Mahrez, arguably the likes of Martial. So we could see a fairly high rated card, though I don't think he'll get many special cards. So I think he'll be a one to watch, but I wouldn't recommend going for him. At number 2 in the list, we have got Richarlison, the Everton winger who's gone to a flying start in the Premier League. Obviously got red carded this week, but 2 or 3 goals I think already in the season. He has come off to a beautiful start, following his manager, I think Marco Silva, from Watford to Everton in a £40 million deal that looked stupid at the time, but is now looking like an absolute bargain. And I think the good start he's had is going to make sure that EA will give him one, and it could be a very valuable card to buy. He's got decent pace, decent dribbling, and could be a decent player to put into a hybrid, being Brazilian and Premier League. You could link up to the likes of Firmino or Jesus with a strong link, and then maybe even switch the leagues with the likes of Casemiro. At number 3 in the list, we have got Malcolm, the Barcelona winger who has just moved from Bordeaux for around 50 million, I think. Another promising player, another very young one who could get a couple of good informs. The only worry with this one is he's in competition with Dembele, so how much game time he will get could be a risky business, although I wouldn't be surprised if you see him get 1 or 2 informs in this season. I've put his card at 82 rating. I think they'll go for quite low with him, and hope that he can get a couple of informs. That way they can push his card up very slowly rather than blitz it straight to like a really stupidly high one. I think again, him and Richarlison would make a great front 3 alongside possibly Jesus. That would be a brilliant front line to have if you could get that early on in FIFA. Now, number 4 on the list, probably another one of the favourites that I'd expect will be a dead cert for EA, and that is Naby Keita, the Guinean centre mid who has just moved from RB Leipzig to Liverpool. He's had an absolutely flying start for them. Liverpool fans saying he's one of the best signings they've had in a long time. To be fair, looking at what he's done so far, I wouldn't be far off agreeing with them. 85 rating is the rating I have given him. Is that arguably a bit high? I think not. I think the skills he's shown in the first few games have been very good, and I think he honestly could get like a 94, 95 card if he carries on the way he is going. Honestly, a player that you could keep in your team for the whole season. Starting off as an 85, it's almost a club 80 I've put. Other than I think I put his defending a bit low. I think I put his defending at 70, but every other stat I had 80 plus, so really could be a good starter card. Well, not a starter card, it could be a very expensive starter card, but if you can get that card early on in FIFA and keep it through the whole year, that could be a very good investment. At number 5 on the list, we have a second Liverpool player by the name of Alisson, who was for a short while the most expensive goalkeeper in history until Kepa took that spot a couple of weeks later. Another player that I wouldn't be surprised to see get a one to watch. If Edison got one last year, I'm not sure whether he did or not. I think he'll have a very similar card to last year's Edison. A good one to pick up, especially if he gets a couple of informs through the season. At number 6 in this list, we have De Vrij. Possibly, I think, more an unlikely one, as he's less likely to get informs. Not really a player that gets the headlines as much, but could be one that EA slip in as a high rated one to say, come and buy this, and then not give him a single inform all year. So I don't think I'd be surprised to see De Vrij in there for that reason. I give him an 83 rating, although EA did boost his card to an 84 on his regular card last year, and now he's obviously moved to Inter, a team that is vastly improving. So maybe if there are a few clean sheets in there and maybe a couple of headed goals in good timings, De Vrij could get a couple of informs, but probably one I think that EA will use to waste players' coins more than anything. Okay, and number 7, we have got Jorginho. Oh my god, first of all, I'm happy to see him at Chelsea. He's absolutely a banging start. Him versus Keita is going to be an interesting decision, and possibly a decision that's not too difficult. If you can stick both of them in the midfield, that could be absolutely ridiculous for your team. I honestly think that could be a tactic to go for, and I'm looking at some of the one-to-watches that I've selected on here and some of the ones I've run through. You could stick Richarlison on the left mid spot, Malcolm on the right mid, then have Keita and Jorginho in centre mid spots. Then all you need is a Kante get a strong link to Jorginho. This is going to sound really confusing now. I'm basically image on the screen. Jesus up top and a strong link to Semedo, and you could have yourself a decent attack if you were to go for 4-3-3-5 and then switch it up in the games. That could be actually a very strong midfield. If you had one to watch Jorginho and one to watch Keita, that could be an insane team. They could both be club 80 by January, so that would be a very good one. At number 8, we have a player who doesn't even yet have a face in FIFA 19, and that is Guendouzi. Mkhitaryan said a few weeks ago he didn't even recognise the player until he moved from Lorient for 8 million from there to Arsenal, and he honestly could be one of the signings of the season. He has a very good start, pushed Torreira out of the team, and is also threatening the likes of Ramsey and El Neni in the place in the side, looking like he could be almost a future Kante. So well played to Emery. He's brought in a very strong signing there. I see him very much David Luiz-esque. I know that's slightly to do with the big afro, but still, I think he's got very passionate, very attacking way to his game. So although he can play CDM centre B, he likes to push forward in big challenges. A bit similar to David Luiz, I wouldn't be surprised to see him having a decent long shot on him in this card. Although I have put him quite low rated, he would have a lot of room for improvement off of this card. At number 9, we've got a second Arsenal player, and that is Leno. And this could be an interesting comparison to make. Would you go for Leno or Alisson? Because I think Alisson's going to have a better season, especially as Czech is sometimes being played. But I think Leno may still get a one to watch, and I've stuck him at an 85. Can't see him getting any higher, but I don't think EA will lower his rating, as BPL players often get very high ratings. So I think he will stay put and not get an informal season, maybe one, building up to an 86, 87. But I think he'll be another one like De Bruyne that EA will use for people to spend a lot of money on and then not give any informs through the season. At number 10, we've got a slightly outside the box one in Digne. I think it would be a very interesting card to have, as you don't get many fullbacks or defenders in general getting ones to watch cards necessarily, but they do get a few informs. If Digne can push up the pitch, get a few assists, especially with Richarlison in front of him, that would make another good comparison. A very strong left-hand side for the beginning of FIFA. Digne and Richarlison could be a very interesting thing, because obviously neither of them are top 6, and that will give them a big boost in terms of performance, but at the same time not being too expensive. And let's move on to number 11. We have got the legend himself, Buffon. Now, last year you wouldn't have been able to have him, but this is a good point. It's Harbour FIFA 18 made, and that was that. This year we may have 30 plus age players in the ones to watch cards, because we have had Ronaldo confirmed. He is obviously, I think, 33, 34 years of age as he moves to Juve. Although I do think EA had no choice. If they didn't put Ronaldo in, they would get absolutely slaughtered. Although Buffon is going to have probably a rating drop, and I think I was looking on the predictions rating, he has gone down by 3. People are saying 86 as his rating for next year. I think he'll get an 87 at PSG. He's got that legend status that means he will still get a fairly strong card. Look, I think over the coming seasons his card will drop and drop and drop until eventually he will retire. I think it'll only be a couple of years until he retires anyway. So, at number 12, we have Justin Kluivert, the son of Patrick Kluivert, who always had a legend card in FIFA already. He has moved from Ajax to Roma. Ajax is a club with a lot of strong potential in their squad at the moment. You've got the likes of Kluivert, obviously, is left, but Neres, De Ligt, Ziyech and Onana, and also Patrick Dolberg, all very promising players. And if they had transferred, would have been a number of Ajax players who would have ones to watches, and I think we could see a lot of them getting informed in this season. So a Dutch League team or a Dutch League hybrid may actually be a decent bet for a team, but Roma is obviously the club that has snapped up Kluivert. I've given him a 79 rating, very similar to his inform from FIFA 18, not really a lot of change there. I think he'll be one that will be a very good and very specimen. Although I didn't say it, but I thought last year Kessie would be a good buy. He proved not to be so good in the end. But I think Kluivert had a very strong season at Ajax, and I think we could see him continuing to improve at Roma. Number 13. Now, arguably the most risky one, but arguably the one that will make you a huge amount of profit, and that is Lorato Martinez. I really didn't know a lot about this player even less than Guendouzi, but I have found out that he moved from Racing Club to Inter Milan for I think £8 million or £12 million or something, and he will partner Icardi up top, and that could be a lethal combination. I can see them rocketing his rating up. He got an 87 team of the season last year in the Argentinian League. I think they're going to give him a very high start. I think they're going to put him at 80 rated. Start off very, very high. And I think this could be a card that I would like to pick up, because I think that strike force with Icardi and Martinez Icardi isn't the best on FIFA, that's the only thing. But Martinez, I think, could honestly get a 90 rated card by the end of the season, and would be a great pickup for anyone wants to make a bit of money on this game. Either keep him, because he has very strong pace, very strong dribbling, very strong shooting, which is really important. As I say, pace gets more and more important every year in FIFA, so I think his card, if he does get the info, could be a huge buy, and one that I think probably gets to 50k or maybe even 30k once you're a few weeks into FIFA, hoping that he doesn't. You always want to hope he doesn't get informed early on, improves as the season goes on, and he can absolutely his price will just skyrocket if he starts to hit form, I think. But moving on from a striker, we're back to another centre mid. The player that I said Guendouzi was pushing out of the team, that's Correa, a player that I still want to see get into the Arsenal team. And I would like to see him do well at Arsenal, because I think I'm quite a fan of the player. He did well at the World Cup for Uruguay. He's been playing well for Sampdoria for the past couple of seasons, but wow. He's been doing well for the past couple of seasons. Shut the fuck up, Dean, I can hear you whistling. I would like to see him get a one to watch, but I think because of Guendouzi, we will not see him get one. I have, however, kept him in the list at a 79 rating, slightly improving from his last season card of 77. I don't think they're going to give him as high rating as people are expecting. I don't think EA will push his rating up that highly. And finally, at number 15, we have another Chelsea player, or a Chelsea player leaving, in fact, and that is Michy Batshuayi. First half of last season, he was dog shit. Well, not dog shit, that's hard. Didn't get any game time, then he moved to Dortmund on loan and absolutely smashed it. I think on loan at Valencia this year, he's going to do very similar, smashing in the goals. I think he'll be the best of the rest of the Liga. I think the likes of Suarez and Bale, I suppose, not Benzema anymore, but I think the likes of Suarez and Bale will outscore him. But I think Batshuayi could be one of the top strikers, getting maybe 20 goals, I think, in this La Liga season. I really think he has a lot of promise. I think Valencia's squad is very strong at the moment. I think they signed Watts recently as well as another strong player to go alongside Parejo. So Valencia team looking very good. I think they'll give Batshuayi a lot of opportunities. I'm giving him an 82 rating, but last year he started in an 80 and went up to a 94, so I can always see him doing a similar thing in this FIFA. Will probably be a very good buy, although I think a more expensive one as him being a striker. So, if you guys have enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, comment down below if you want to see a part 2. I already have ideas of players I want to use in that, but until then, see you next time. Peace.